his call for a holy hour of peace, Archbishop Coakley reflected on how the violence, injustice, and social unrest seen in our nation this week might lead to feelings of powerlessness. But he emphasized our prayer, our faith, and our acts of charity do matter. He encouraged all faithful to take part in this holy hour and to pray for healing and renewal, confident that, quote, God hears the cry of his people and remains close to all those who seek him. And joining us now is Archbishop Paul Coakley, the newly elected president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us. Can you reflect on this moment that we are in right now as a nation and why you felt prompted to call on U.S. bishops and priests to hold a holy hour for peace?
Well, I think I'm not sure it's an unprecedented moment, but I think it's a moment that has gotten the attention of our nation and indeed of our world. I think as we see the unrest taking place in our cities, particularly in Minneapolis, and the violent outbreak. So I think in view of the anger, the violent reactions that are taking place, we felt prompted to try to change the tone of the conversations and call people not necessarily to avoid any kind of public witness, but really to call people to give witness by prayer, bringing our concerns, our needs, the needs of the suffering, the needs of the immigrants, the needs of our law enforcement officials, bringing it all to the Lord in the Holy Eucharist. To ask God's grace and God's presence, God's courage, God's guidance as we address very, very difficult and challenging situations on the ground.
God's guidance is certainly needed right now. And as you know, there were multiple news reports back in the fall about ICE preventing clergy from bringing Holy Communion to detained migrants. Now, with what's going on in Minneapolis, debates over immigration enforcement tactics continue to rage on. Your Excellency, how much of a priority is it for the U.S. bishops to address the growing debate over specific ICE enforcement strategies? Is this the top issue facing the U.S. Church right now?
Well, it's an issue that we simply can't avoid because it's impacting so many of our people, both migrants, immigrants, but as well as law enforcement and just the people that are wondering, questioning in their own hearts and their own minds, what is the proper and appropriate response for Catholics, for Christians, for people of goodwill in the face of a nearly unprecedented situation. So I think it's a high priority, I think, for all of us, as was evident by the special message that we issued back in November at our fall assembly. So I think that was a message that was passed nearly unanimously by the U.S. bishops. So it's a very, very high priority for us.
Right, and that was the first special message in about 12 years from the U.S. bishop. So that is significant. That's right. Do you have a sense of whether the situation in Minneapolis is on Pope Leo's radar?
It has to be. I'd be very, very surprised if it was not. I think he stays pretty well informed as to what's happening here in the United States, being the land of his birth, of course. But it's garnered worldwide attention and global coverage. So it's got to be on Pope Leo's radar screen and a matter of concern for him as well.
We understand you may not be able to address specifics here, though you are more than welcome to. But Your Excellency, can you share whether immigration and ICE enforcement actions were topics of conversation during your recent meeting with President Trump at the White House? And are you satisfied by how those conversations went?
Well, I can say this, certainly, that the one takeaway that we realized almost immediately after that meeting was the relief that was granted for the R1 visa for the many religious workers working throughout our country who were facing real obstacles in renewing their visas and staffing our parishes as priests and religious sisters and religious workers everywhere. It's certainly been a factor in Oklahoma, where I am from, but it's been a factor all over our nation. I know as bishops were hearing that I was going to be meeting with the president, that was probably the one thing most consistently that I heard from them, to be sure to bring up that matter with the president, with the administration. And they listened and they heard, and I was satisfied, at least at this point, with the progress that we've made so far. We did discuss other matters, of course, in the time that I had with him, including meaningful immigration reform. So yes, it was very much a part of the meeting and of our conversation.
You've described this moment that we're in of national turmoil as a climate of fear and polarization, which thrives when human dignity is disregarded. Can you expand on that? And what do you think is underpinning this polarization? How did we get here?
I don't think it's something that has happened overnight. I think we've been sliding in this direction for a number of years, of course. But I think we got here because of fear. I think fear is a tool of the enemy of our human nature, as St. Ignatius in Loyola would describe the evil one. I think he plays upon our fears, and this is a way in which he's playing upon the fear that's so rampant in our nation to turn to inappropriate means, to disregard, disrespect our brothers and sisters, to treat them as other, to treat them as the enemy, not realizing, not recognizing that the real enemy is not necessarily brothers and sisters of flesh and blood, but the real enemy is the evil one who is trying to turn us against one another, to be blind to the dignity of our brothers and sisters and their God-given dignity, created as image and likeness.
Well, on that note, finally, do you have a parting word for our audience, especially those who might feel fatigued by the national unrest right now? Well, as we've called for this holy hour, and I hope that will find a hearing in many parishes around our nation, I would simply renew the call to prayer. I think all of us need to turn to the Lord and seek His grace and to seek His guidance, but also just to inform ourselves and to be careful where we're getting our information. I mean, because there are some outlets, I suspect, that are playing upon these fears, and we need to avoid becoming pawns of that kind of spinning of information and facts, and to really begin with turning to the Lord in prayer and seeking His grace and His guidance. That's a great reminder. Archbishop Paul Coakley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this week. Thank you very much for the opportunity. God bless you.